Well, I'm quite enjoying following the theme of the print. So this is one of my favourite pictures of all time, Robots of Dawn, and that background colour is very difficult to capture, to get it exactly right, and this print does that. So I'm going to have a sort of, I think it's got to be a similar type of robot, but a bit more sideways on, and I think it's like this. I think it's going to have a semi-rounded head, and of course they do tend, although they're not eyes, I suppose having sighters, viewers on either side does make sense, like for a human being, because then you've got your two dimensions. So this seems to be quite a nice smooth head with like a sort of camouflage on it. I don't know why, perhaps it's because it's military or something. So here you go, and that's the head. There, it's all rounded, so it doesn't have bits. It's looking like it's probably quite heavily armoured, a bit like a First World War gun turret on the French Maginot Line. But it seems to have little rockets down here, so perhaps the head can detach. And here is the actual head, and it's coming down. It's obviously very big, but what we could do to have a bit of fun, just to show how big the robot is, it's actually coming out of the water, a bit like this one. That one's wading. This one is actually much more under the water. And to emphasise the size of it, here in the foreground is some sort of workboat with people on the workboat. And maybe they've been working at something, and here's the robot there, which is sort of coming out of the water like this. So I wonder why it's surfacing, and here is the little workboat with the people in it like this, and here is the water like that, and perhaps a bit like in Gulliver's Travels, it's pulling something. It's walking on the ocean floor, and it's pulling a pontoon of some sort, or a workstation of some sort. So here is this thing, which is basically a big raft, and perhaps it's in an area which it's hard for ships to go because of rocks and things. So here is your work pontoon, and what's giving me the idea for this is that just where we are here on the coast, there is a big sort of pontoon thing with very tall poles. These aren't so tall. Maybe that's to put its feet on the ocean bed. And there's all that. And then here is, again, perhaps like this thing that we're looking at here in real life, it can be some sort of a huge gantry of some sort, and it's like a heavy lift thing, so there's a big sort of block coming down like this, or a grab of some sort, and the robot's pulling on. Mind you, the robot's hands would probably be so big that they could pick up much more than that, but who knows. So there we go, there's a little F like that, and again, why don't we put on the back of this some tiny people on there like that, and then you've got the horizon going through like that, and there's some sort of an island in the distance just like that, again just to emphasize the distance and the scale, and another island over here like that, and then
yes, it's going off to Hawaii.
yeah, ah yes, so here you are, here are these little islands.
Volcanic in Hawaii, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So look, they're a bit more, this is like what was a volcano. This is the core of it, which has survived. This is down to the shore, and maybe there's a bit of forestation down here like this, but that's the actual island. thing. And as always, with this thing now of drones, they're everywhere. So this is like a more sophisticated drone which accompanies the robot everywhere. And basically, although it's big enough to take people, it's got a little grab on it for something or other, and that is, or a couple of grabs, and this can just go along with the robot. And here's a bit of vapour coming off the robot. Maybe it's come out of the water, so the steam coming off of it, because it's a hot climate, humid climate. And then here's the actual horizon. That's it, and right there is one of the biggest robots in the universe. Now that is probably about 10 miles away, so it's like a sort of a misty silhouette, and that is really big. And then it's big square legs, and again it's a work robot, so it's up to something, and there are tiny little spaceships around it like this there, and it's doing something here in the water. There's some sort of a ship or something like that, and that's right in the distance. And then going through at the top, because by now we've got spaceships that can enter the atmosphere, there is a ship, maybe it's bringing in supplies or something, who knows, there, and there's that in the distance. And then here is the water, and then perhaps intriguingly there is the top of another robot coming up, but you can only see its little top cone at the moment, and that will be coming out of the water. So it's sort of, maybe the water is so deep that they, by the time they get to here, it will practically submerge itself. And here is the thing that it is pulling. Again, another of these platforms like this. That's the hull, and it's got some bits on it like this. And this is, don't know what it is, but there it is. There is that, and there is the hull of this thing going along like that. And then there's just odd shapes in the water, you know, boats or whatever, and something over there. And there we are. Maybe make this a bit stronger. Here. And there. I love doing these drawings because they give me so many ideas. I'm actually working on a series of paintings of robots in different situations.